Hi, I'm Jim Gordon.
And I'm Lita Leapins.
And welcome to another edition of Our City Tonight.
Well, Jim, we're here at Olympic Village. We're at the big white tent for Cavaglia Odessio.
A great show, and coming up later in an Our City Tonight exclusive, we'll go behind the scenes to see how they get the horses prepared for the big show. All that and a whole lot more coming up on this edition of Our City Tonight.
Segment of Spirits Up is brought to you by Evolved Cellars and Time Winery. Cheers.
Where are our glasses?
Sorry.
Well, it's one of our favorite, if not the most favorite segment we do in the show. We're here with Krista Lee and another segment of Spirits Up, and we are in a relatively new place on Powell Street called the Mackenzie Room.
And we are really looking forward to spring, or the arrival of spring. And the arrival of spring always means new weather change, new fashions, and new wine, apparently.
New wines, exactly. So we're really excited in the spring because we're starting to release the new vintages of all of the wines. So we harvest in the fall, and you're starting to see the 2016s come to market here. So yes, it's fresh, it's fruity, it's, lively.
And what are we having first here?
So
some bubbles.
Yes, this is a new sparkling we have from Evolved Cellars in Summerland.
Yeah.
And this one's called Elan Effervescent. So Elan means panache, liveliness, freshness, and so we thought, what better name to give this wine? And you'll notice that it's a little bit sweeter, just a hint of honey on it, versus some of our other sparkling wines that we do. And it's made 100% Ortega grape variety, so it's got sort of some peachy, some nectarine, a little bit of citrus characteristic to it. So,
And you know what's interesting? When we first started working with you, you got us to try a bubbly that we both love.
the effervescence.
So this is just, you're saying, a little more sweeter based and with honey?
Not honey in it. No, so that's just some of the terminology that we use when we're talking about wine. We don't add anything to it. It's just all grapes, so no honey in it.
Okay.
But it's got that honey characteristic to it.
Honey
So
characteristic.
just a little bit sweeter.
Right. I'm glad I asked that.
Yes, good question though.
And what would you pair food-wise?
Oh, well, I was going to say, first of all, a sunny deck and, and a good book.
But if it's raining, which may be possible in April.
But definitely for this wine, I think very versatile. I think a nice cheese platter, beautiful fruit, and even a fruit salad. I think you could get away with some not as sweet desserts as well, or perfect for Sunday brunch. Forget adding the orange juice to your mimosa, just have a little Elan Effervescence.
I can see that, definitely.
So cheers. Happy spring.
You too. Well, here's to warm weather and sunny sunshine. Tell you what, we're coming back, and we're going to try two more wines when we come back later in the show. More great wine for springtime here in Vancouver. Thanks, Krista Lee.
Thanks, Jim.
Welcome back to Our City Tonight. We are here with Krista Lee for our Spirits Up segment, and in the Mackenzie Room. This is a great spot.
It's a great venue, The food is fantastic, all local ingredients, it changes constantly, and what better place to, have some wine and pair with some food.
And what is also changing is our wine selection right now. What are we getting into?
Yes, so this is our Evolved Cellars 2016 Pinot Blanc. So we've just released this. What's really exciting about this time of year is we're just starting to release all the new vintages. So really all the hard work that the team has done in the cellar, it's now coming to fruition and out on the shelf. So Pinot Blanc, sometimes it gets a bit of a bad rap.
Why is that?
Well, because people think it's a little bit boring sometimes, or can be. But personally, I think it's a great variety if it's done well. It's got great acidity, great crispness. If you smell this, to me, it's like walking through an Okanagan orchard. It's got apple and pear, and so versatile when it comes to food pairings. So,
Granny Smith.
yes, absolutely, right?
Lita decides to get funny while I'm actually showing my wine here. This is very nice. And now we should ask you, what would this ideally go with food-wise?
Oh, for me, Pinot Blanc and salmon.
Salmon.
Absolutely, right? Pacific salmon, we'll get it fresh, so much of it here, and it's absolutely a great pairing. Also something with goat cheese, or it'll stand up because it's got great acidity. Something that's more of a salad or a vinaigrette, it'll work really nicely too.
I am absolutely loving the spring wines, and the last one was delicious. Now, what do we have next for us?
So this one I am very excited about. Not that I wasn't excited about the others, but this is a new varietal for us as well. So this is from Time Winery, our new winery in Penticton that we're just building on Martin Street. So it's an urban downtown winery. And this is our new rosé. So it's made 100% Syrah. Exactly. What says spring better than rosé, right? Just this. To me, you've got amazing watermelon and raspberry and strawberries. It is like a spring basket of fruit as you have the nose. You don't even have to put your nose in the glass. The bouquet is so, beautiful. You want to just dab a little on maybe, right? So.
Can you tell us a little bit of a difference between yours and, say, a French version of a rosé?
Yeah, I mean, rosé can be so many different things. There's no set thing. So this is red grape. This is 100% Syrah. So Syrah is really quite a dark grape. So what we do is we just don't give it a lot of skin contact. So when we crush it, it immediately comes off the skins because the juice to all grapes is white. So by just giving it a little, you've got this beautiful color and a lovely hue. And you get the characteristics, though, of the Syrah. So again, the strawberry, watermelon, some cherry.
And also, it's amazing in the last 4 to 5 years, Lita actually was the one that got me back into rosé. I mean, I just was never a rosé drinker in the last 15
Well,
years.
you're missing out then.
No, but it's amazing. You've got, in the segments we've been doing with you, you've made me a Chardonnay drinker again.
I know.
And rosé, I've really grown to love more. It's actually undergone like a real image change.
It definitely has. We're seeing huge growth in rosé, and part of that, I believe, is because it's so versatile.
Yeah.
But we're seeing a little drier style rosé, and that's where we're seeing the growth in the category as well. That it doesn't have to be this sweet, bubblegummy characteristic, and it's so versatile when it comes to food pairing because it's got great acidity, it's fresh fruit forward. So yeah, pretty excited.
Speaking of food pairings, can you give us a few?
Oh, absolutely. This one, I love with a fresh salad, a nice quiche, beautiful salmon dish as well. This will work well with any kind of seafood, really.
Well, I'm absolutely loving every single one of these new spring releases. And, well, are they released? Are they available now?
Yes, they're available now. So we've just released these ones. And so if you don't see it in your local liquor store, ask them to bring it in because they're available. And they're also available on our winery websites as well.
Wonderful.
I got to tell you, I like all three, but I think today my favorite is the rosé.
You like the
Very
rosé?
Nice. Yeah.
Excellent.
Another great segment here, and thanks for turning us on to this place, the Mackenzie Room. It's fantastic.
It's a great restaurant.
Yeah, really nice. We will see you on the next edition of Spirits Up.
Absolutely.
And let's have some more toast
Cheers.
and drinks. Cheers. Cheers.
Happy spring.
Happy spring.
This segment of Spirits Up was brought to you by Evolve Cellars and Time Winery. Cheers.
We're here at Timber on Robson Street, and I'm here with Dawn from City TV. You are one of the most beloved city personalities on TV.
You're so kind.
You are. And you've actually won awards to that end, so I'm not just flattering. So Dawn, you've been on TV for some time, but you have an interesting job because you have to get up a lot earlier than most TV personalities do. How do you manage that?
Well, I do get up somewhere between 3:30 and 4 in the morning. The key is really to go to bed early, and I know that sounds easy to say, but you really try to get that 7-8 hours if you can. And I'm often at an event, which we're at lots. I'm often the first one to arrive and the very first one to leave.
Oh, well, you do a great job, but you also are a celebrated jazz singer. You sang with some of the greats around town.
The late, great Dal Richards.
Yes, absolutely. But how did you get started singing jazz?
Well, a lot of people think that I did the television and went into singing. Like, why not go into singing now that people know you on television? It was actually my singing career, which started in Edmonton, that got me into my television career. The short version of the story is that I used to perform on the morning show to promote my gigs in my first CD. Eventually, they asked me to audition for Weather and Traffic, and although I sucked horribly for the first 6 months or so, you get a little better every day, and they say everything is trainable except for personality.
Well, they saw potential in you, obviously.
17 years later, thankfully.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, we're glad that they did. Dawn's latest CD, Under the Covers. Find Dawn Under the Covers.
That sounds really inappropriate, but kind of enticing, right?
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, if you're like me and you grew up reading the Archie comics, our next interview will be of interest to you. There's a new series that started on the CW network a couple of weeks ago called Riverdale. It's an updated, subversive take on the classic comic book, which turned 75 not too long ago, and one of the actresses is here, Natalie Bolt. Welcome to our city tonight. I know you can't talk a lot about the show, but can you tell us a bit about what people can see if they haven't seen it yet?
Riverdale, as it is a story of the Archie comics as we know them, which is all apple pie and cuteness, mashed up with Twin Peaks, say, to give you a darker version of that perfect town. And I think a lot of what we're getting at there is the loss of innocence.
Yeah.
So you've got Betty, Archie, Jughead and Veronica as the core four, and they're basically solving the mystery at the moment with all the extended characters. I play Penelope Blossom, one of the dark, creepy redheads.
Penelope? Clifford? Hey, how are you holding up?
How do you think? My son is dead. And neither of you have done anything to catch his killer, except, of course, harass my daughter.
Penelope Blossom. I thought I might run into you. Would you like to give me a quote regarding this?
Listen, I know you've come a long way, South Africa, New Zealand to here. I hear you're loving living in Vancouver, so I want to thank you for joining me here at Provence today and continued success.
My pleasure.
Riverdale is on the CW network. You can check it out now. Well, now it's time for another edition of Our City Tonight, Culture Bites. Lita, where are we right now?
We are at Science World, and we're really excited to be here for the Science of Cocktails, a great event, their second year, I believe.
Let's go check it out.
I'm here with Dr. Scott Sampson for the Science of Cocktails, just a sold-out event for Science World. Now, they're raising some money for some really good causes here. Can you give us a little bit of a description of what that money goes to?
Sure. All of the proceeds from tonight's event are going to go to support a bursary program to get children from underserved communities on field trips here to Science World. As a result of tonight's event, we'll get more than 5,000 kids from these communities coming to Science World to have life-changing experiences and hopefully fall in love with science for a lifetime.
And tonight's about adults here. There's no kids around. We are going to do a little bit of tasting of some spectacular cocktails and a little gastronomical, molecular gastronomy. You can get that.
Absolutely. This is not a typical evening for Science World. We are going to have over 56 bartenders serving from over 25 stations. There's 13 restaurants and caterers here serving food. So this is an adult evening here at Science World, and we're going to have a great time.
Perfect. Well, thanks for spending some time with us on this busy night for you.
Thank you, Lita.
And Jim, where are you?
Lita, thanks very much. And Scott, we will have more of you on an upcoming show. Want to hear more about Science World? Well, I'm with Lauren, who, if you drink around town like I do, everyone knows who she is. All right, I need a quick cocktail, your best, and go.
I'm going to pour you both. So
Lita's not involved in this, actually. I'm going to drink both mine and hers.
No, you are I would not even have assumed otherwise. So 2 cocktails.
Okay.
One is called the Kettle Boisson Gazifié, which is another name for a champagne that is made outside of the Champagne region.
This could have just said that, actually. Okay, right, okay.
So this is made with Kettle One and a host of other ingredients, but I wanted to create a cocktail that actually mimicked the 1989 Krug Special Edition wine from Champagne.
Oh, lovely.
And so that's my science. My science of cocktails is all about the science of fermentation. So we have our white, which has been force carbonated with carbon dioxide after a 6-day yeast fermentation with champagne yeast. And this one is modeled after the 1961 Hermitage La Chapelle from the Rhone Valley, which is done with wild yeast fermentation.
Nice.
So also the same thing that happens while you leave something out and fermentation starts on its own.
Okay.
Yes, so there you go.
This health and wellness segment is brought to you by Viva Nutraceuticals. Well, I'm out here at Coppersmith Farm Market in Richmond. Why? Well, they're kind of tied in with today's subject for this edition of Health and Wellness. Now, your mom, it seems, was right back when you were a kid telling you to eat all your vegetables, specifically things like broccoli and cabbage and asparagus, because they all contain an antioxidant known as indole-3 carbinol, and that is the subject of this edition of our Health and Wellness segment. thank you for joining me here in this location. We've never done an interview here in a market, but this is the place to be because we want to talk about I3C, indole 3-carbinol, and the toxicities in our diets and everything. People think they just eat enough vegetables, that's enough. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I think that's important to understand is that what we eat from a healthy diet, as you can see, fruits and vegetables, is very important. But we live in an environment that's growingly, exceedingly toxic. And some of these toxins can have a devastating effect on our health. Hormonal imbalances, cancer is prevalent. And so diet is something that's very important in preventing a lot of these diseases. But unfortunately, that balance doesn't exist anymore. We've got an incredibly toxic environment, and just eating healthy enough, it seems to point the direction that that's just not enough and that we may need to supplement.
Dr. Gita, hormonal imbalance can often lead to disease. Now, what does I3C do to help combat that?
In our environment, we have a toxic environment, that some of these toxins are what we call hormone disruptors, or often what we know as estrogen disruptors. So they can exist through fumes and chemicals, plastic products, BPAs, phthalates, all these things are in our environment. And these hormonal disruptors affect our own hormones and can interplay with those hormones and cause devastating consequences. So a compound like I3C helps to metabolize. What that means to the viewers, it helps to wash out some of these toxins that could contribute to chronic disease. So that's why as a nutrient, it's a component of what we call a cruciferous vegetable, but I3C in itself can help to metabolize some of these toxins out of the system. These particular cruciferous vegetables contain compounds like I3C, and that's why, our parents used to tell us when we were kids, eat your vegetables. Well, there's a method to that madness. We didn't necessarily like the taste of Brussels sprouts, but the I3C, which is a component of cruciferous vegetables, has the unique ability to quench and wash out toxins that can be harmful for us and contribute to chronic disease in the future, particularly hormone-related diseases that target women more often than men, such as like hormone-related cancers.
And Dr. Gita, finally, how does I3C as an antioxidant compare to, say, grapeseed extract or green tea extract?
So antioxidants are compounds that are also found in fruits and vegetables. However, antioxidants, they have an effect on neutralizing what we call free radicals, or things that oxidize the body and can contribute to cell damage. Whereas I3C works more predominantly in the liver function. So it helps to actually detoxify. So there's a bit of a difference. Detoxifying is a way to wash out nasty hormones, where antioxidants prevent damage on a cellular level. So they're a little bit different.
Well, listen, I appreciate you joining us here today in Richmond, because I think, like a lot of people, I've never heard of I3C and its benefits, so I appreciate you being here today. We should mention to you, if you check out Dr. Gita's website, you can get more information on his book, which is The Doctor of the Future is Here, where you actually talk a little bit in parts of the book about this subject matter and antioxidants, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Go check out the website, and thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you.
This edition of the Health and Wellness segment has been brought to you by Viva Nutraceuticals. Insozia is a safe and effective sleep aid. Insozia does not use drugs to induce sleep cycles, has no addiction, and no tolerance buildup. It is a unique patented formula which includes natural traditional Chinese herbal medicine. Insozia is manufactured in Canada, formulated by doctors with 10 years clinical research, by a manufacturer with 21 years of experience. For more information, go to vivahealthsolutions.com.
Welcome back to our city tonight. Well, we're just over the Cambie Bridge in Olympic Village area, and we're here at Cavalia Odessio, an amazing show.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if you love horses, and most people do, this is a show you really want to see. The interaction between human beings, their handlers, the horses, the dancing, the acrobatics is just breathtaking.
Absolutely, filled with all kinds of great talent. It is just definitely something not to miss.
Yeah, well, we got a little Our City Tonight exclusive here. We're going backstage to check out what some of the groomers and handlers do to get the horses ready for the big show.
I'm here with one of the two-legged stars for Cavalia, and you've been riding with the troupe since early spring.
Yeah, for about a year. I'm just coming up on a year, so it's pretty exciting to have been here a whole year.
Well, and I know a little bit of your background. You've been riding since you were 13 years old, and then you went into insurance, but now you're with Describe what it's like to be with this troupe.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to put anything in words. You know, it's by far the best job I've ever had. We wake up and we come play with these horses every day in Liberty and jumping and dressage and all these different acts and numbers, and it's just really letting the horses be horses and getting to interact with their personalities.
And you are, I guess, in line to do the big jump tonight.
Yeah, so it's pretty fun. This is actually Quetzal, who's he's a Holsteiner, actually imported from Germany. And I actually brought a cookie that you can hand him and he will love it. And you just lay your hand flat, Quetzal, and you're just gonna lay your hand flat like that. Yeah. There he goes. Yeah, so he actually does a big jump, and he's a really good jumper that just is really powerful and forward.
Wonderful. Well, I've seen the show is amazing. There's just so many different acts, and you were in a lot of them. Which one's your favorite?
I would say Liberty is probably my top one. That's the one where there's 8 different riders with 4 horses in teams, and they're all loose. And that one is just the most exciting because every night is different. So for us performers doing the same show, they say it's never the same, you know, because Quetzal could be feeling frisky that day and just take off and run around, and then I have to call him back, and then the next day. So it's always a fun. You never know what we're going to get. So even as artists, if you're not in the number, you're watching to see what's happening or which horse was silly or playing around. So it's always fun.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for spending some time with us today, and just an incredible show. And we're going to visit and see where Jim is now.
Thanks, Lita. I'm at another part of the stables right now, and apparently the only one wearing a suit and tie. Really not the best clothing to be wearing here, but I'm here with Adrienne, who is a horse groom. Now, you get these horses ready for the night because they got a full show to put on. What goes into that?
Very good question. So my job as a horse groom is to make sure that my horses are happy, healthy, and ready for the show, which means I have to take care of them during the day. Mister wants some cuddles, and also I have to prep them for the show, so I have to clean them and make sure that they're all ready. Which means I also have to clean their mane and brush their mane.
Yeah, and her mane, I mean, the cosmetics of it, the horse has to look great, so the mane, I mean, you got to braid the hair, don't you?
Absolutely. When they have such long manes like Juglans over here, we have to make sure that they are ready and that they have a beautiful, beautiful mane, which also means I have to braid it so it doesn't get in the way during the day and they can play around without having it in their faces or chewing on it. And so I have to braid it every day.
Remember when my hair was long enough when I was a teenager where I'd get in my face when I would play, but that's long gone. Well, I tell you what, let's take a little look at the show right now to see what the audience gets to see when these horses are under the spotlight.
Well, Jim, we're back here where we started the show at the Big White Tents in Olympic Village for Cavalia Odisseo show.
Yeah, good show. It was great. We got behind the scenes, and that does it for this edition of Our City Tonight. Lita, you know this better than I do. If you want to contact us, folks, for any contests, anything like that, social media is...
We can be reached at Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Our City Tonight.
All sounds fantastic. I'm Jim Gordon.
And I'm Lita Leapins.
We'll see you next time on Our City Tonight.
What?
Okay, we're not talking here. This is all you.
We're silent on camera.
I'm like, yeah.
You're so cute.
Oh.